The actual definition of the word entertain is to provide enjoyment or amusement to someone. So in order to entertain, you need to provide enjoyment, amusement, fulfillment, pique people's interest. With what you saw last night for Smackdown, July 10th, 2020, I ask every one of you a serious question. Were you entertained? If you have to think long and hard about it and actually dissect the show and try to remember what entertained you, chances are the question is rhetorical and you were not entertained. And if you truly were entertained by things last night, I would love to know what they were. And don't use Sasha Banks, please, because that's a given, that's an obvious. She just steps out of the curtain and she's going to entertain. But aside from Sasha Banks, when you throw together some nonsensical tag matches that should have been built up and put on a pay-per-view, or tag matches for titles that we've already seen a plethora of times, these are concepts, matches, segments, parts of the program that are absolute trash. There's no reasoning and no justifying them. The way we get Jeff Hardy and Sheamus in a bar fight is through The Miz. The Miz sets up a bar fight with a guy who's not even in the arena, who's toasting Guinness from the Tron. How does that make sense? But somebody's out there entertained. And that's great. That's your prerogative. If you have it in you to be entertained by something so fucking small, that's a fucking superhero talent that I'm pretty sure we all wish we had. But we were born with this crazy shit called brain cells. Superstar karaoke. Oh yeah, Dana Brooke, Tamina Snuka, Lacey Evans, and my girl Naomi, middle of the ring, singing themes from yesteryear. And I love the old timers, and I love their themes. And I've even been known to love a little bit of karaoke when I got a few tipped back. But in the middle of Smackdown, when we're less than a week and a half away from Extreme Rules, and that's how you're going to amuse and provide enjoyment. Did they honestly think that people are sitting back going, oh, this is great. Oh my God, look at, oh man, Dana Brooke, man, this is hilarious. This is, oh shit. Lacey, Tamina Snuka's doing Triple H, dude. You gotta check this out. Who's doing that, dog? And stop blaming Bruce. Fuck. Bruce Pritchard is not the deal, dog. This is Vince McMahon. You don't believe me? Look at what they had Naomi go out and do. Dusty Rhodes. And it wasn't no 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Vince McMahon had Naomi do the entire song, basically. That's Vince McMahon's print, his blueprint. You look at what he had Matt Riddle do last week, talking about his fucking feet, as Matt Riddle calls them, his tootsies. A 5-minute story on why Matt Riddle doesn't wear shoes. This is Vince McMahon. Open your fucking eyes. There's a portion of the community that now is placing the blame away from Vince. It's Bruce Pritchard. It's Bruce, everybody. It's Bruce. You're a fucking moron. If you think Bruce Pritchard is a moron, you're a bigger fucking moron. When the word Bruce comes out of your mouth, you're a fucking moron. I am done with people letting Vince McMahon off the hook. Every time he hires a new head of creative, that's where everybody's attention goes to, like a bunch of fucking toddlers being strung along by candy. Bruce! What the fuck's going on, man? This sucks. The shows have sucked for years. Every single head creative writer has been fired, including Bruce 2 times. There's been one constant that has remained. His name is Vince McMahon. Is it a coincidence that the shows have sucked for years and Vince McMahon is the only one that's been there the entire time? No! So what the fuck are you blaming? I cannot help the community, which is what I truly want to do. I want to help the wrestling industry, this community, but I can't do that if your heads are up your fucking asses. I need smart wrestling fans. People want to come to my fucking channel and start going, Bruce is fucking nuts. What the hell's wrong with Bruce? And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you where are you hearing this from? Bruce Pritchard is a fucking pawn in Vince McMahon's game. He's a scapegoat. Just like Paul Heyman. Just like Eric Bischoff. Just like fucking Jim Cornette and the Vince Russos beforehand. They're all scapegoats. If business is booming, he's taking credit. If it sucks, you're fired. It's a lose-lose situation for these head of creatives. Bunch of fucking idiots, man. Spend my fucking time clarifying who's actually in charge in the business. No lie. Before this show went on the air, hours before, I took a trip down to New Jersey and I bought lottery tickets. Not any old scratch tickets, ones that take a long time to scratch, like crossword puzzles. You scratch off your letters up here, and then they have to match any words down here, and you go letter by letter. This shit will take you a good 5 fucking minutes if you want it to. Boom, I bought a couple of those bitches. I bought some $10 tickets because they had like 7 games on each fucking card. They're giant tickets. No, literally. Giant sized. Like the size of my fucking dome piece. I bought a couple of them. Each one of them has like 7 fucking games on them. Each one takes at least 5 to 10 fucking minutes. If you take your time and do your due diligence. I bought several. Because I had a feeling this show was gonna make me find another source of entertainment. And when that was done, I had to fucking install Tetris on my phone, play 5 games, and then uninstall it, and I still had an hour and a half of Smackdown to go. There was a point where I thought, the tiles in my bathroom is a hard wall, probably one of the hardest walls in my entire apartment. If it gets too extremely bad, I'll just slam my dome piece, catapult myself, head first, through those bathroom tiles. A good 5 to 10 times should knock me silly. I now see why you guys come to this channel for your entertainment. I now see why you guys have said from day one, BC, your channel, your vids are more entertaining than the actual shows. I knew what you were talking about beforehand, but it's never been more evident than last night. Where even I was looking forward to my own I was looking forward to entertaining myself. That's how bad that was last night. I now see why you guys come to this fucking channel, and I thank you. I know, there's so many channels in this community. Everybody's got their own shticks, right? There's those giant ass fucks out there that just provide no truth whatsoever. They literally sit behind some fancy microphone or some maybe green screen behind them, and they tell you all the lollygagging bullshit, positive crap that happened on every one of these shows. They don't rarely do they speak any negatives because they don't want to upset the positivity herd, right? So they sit behind their little big microphone to make them look and sound important when you're in your fucking bathroom or you're in your fucking mom's bedroom. And they got their little green screens, and they're talking about how this show had so many positives, how this show was really good. It had a few setbacks, but overall, we're in the middle of a pandemic, their hands are tied, and we should give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's cut them a little bit of a slack. Let's provide them with excuses. There's a lot of dipshits in this community that want to ride the positivity train dick to the high heavens, and that's fine. Do not ever think I'll ever associate with that type of bullshit. Never gonna happen. Then there are those motherfuckers on the flip side that only talk about the fucking negative, Very rarely and only for a short amount of time do they call out the positives because they know that their shtick, their gimmick, is the rants, the negativity. Their audience is the negative nerd herd. So they don't want to upset their herd. So negative brings in the views. Negative brings in that money. And if they are positive for too long, oh, they're going to hear from it from the negative nerd herd. It's just going to happen. This community is split, right? You have the ones that spew out the positivity, the ones that spew out the negativity. The ones that spew out the positivity will never get a job with a reputable organization. Never. Because organizations like WWE look at them as complete fans, complete marks. They're so positive about everything, they're gonna show up no matter what. They're the ones that are gonna go to the arenas and buy tickets to house shows. So all those little fucking platformists out there that have their little YouTube shows talking pro wrestling and they're always positive, always talking about the good, a little bit of negative. You ain't getting no job with WWE, dog. You're a mark to them, nothing more. And on the flip side, the ones that are always spewing negativity, they're never getting a job with WWE or any reputable organization. You know why? Because they've burned all the bridges. They've burned every bridge. When you step in horseshit one too many times, sometimes drastically, do you think the company's gonna turn around and hire you? It's not gonna happen. And it sucks for some of these dudes on both sides. The ones that speak mostly positive, sometimes negative, and the other side, which speaks mostly negative, sometimes positive. Both sides have some good people within their little communities. But they just burn the bridge, or they're looked at as complete marks. From day one, I always said I was going to call it down the middle, and I've stuck to that. I have always stuck to that. But we are at a crossroads. We're at a crossword puzzle. What the fuck am I talking about? We are at a crossroads. No, not Cody. This is a time where we need to change the pro wrestling industry for the better. And I'm not even just talking WWE. AEW and NXT both put on consistently good shows. I'm the first to admit that every single review. You probably wouldn't know that though, because the reviews for NXT and AEW, no matter who is reviewing the show, the views are the lowest in the community. For everybody, when we talk AEW and NXT. Why is there no interest in AEW and NXT on the internet? Because there's no real interest for AEW and NXT on the actual cable stations every week. They're trying their asses off to hit 750 lately. 750,000. 750,000. They can't even hit the all-elusive 1 million. So no wonder there's no interest when you go to the reviews. A lot of us are at the crossroads where we're like, do we even review AEW and NXT? Consistently good shows, which AEW and NXT are both putting on, is no longer good enough. They need to take it to the next level somehow. Somehow. But we're all at a crossroads. Either this changes, man, because this shit is just bad, and I understand the pandemic, and I understand the trying times, and everyone's hands are tied. But that's where the greats do their best work. When times call for it. When you're facing adversity, that's when the great ones step up. Like Michael Jordan. In that flu game, they called it, when it was really food poisoning, but they called it the flu game. I think he had like 100 and something, 103, 104 degree fever, or some shit like that. And Michael Jordan went out and put out one of his best performances ever. Bret the Hitman Hart once wrestled on 104 degree fever. 104! That's not good to even be out of bed with. And Bret Hart did that and put on one of his best wrestling matches. I thought anyway. The greats step up in times of adversity. Here's times of adversity, and these companies are not doing anything epic, nothing great. AEW and NXT at least gets a little bit of credit because they're consistently good, but consistently good is no longer working. We need to step it up. WWE, wow. They're just sinking lower and lower. I used to joke about them being in TNA Impact number zone, right? Floating around that 1 million mark. They're on their way, dog! They're on their way! They had like a 1-6 last show or some shit. What's next? 1-5, 1-4. Then you're talking 1.0. You're talking TNA Impact 1-1, 1-2, 1-3 area. I mean, this is tragic. So we're at a crossroads. We try to make this thing better, or we just have to finally call it quits. And I always said I never wanted to do that. I never quit on my New York Knicks. Year after year, they completely suck. Even this year and probably next year and the next 5 years, my Knicks will be the worst team in the league, or one of them. I think they're one of the worst. The worst. But I stick with my Knicks. When my Green Bay Packers were horrible, I stuck with my Green Bay Packers. When my WWE or my pro wrestling is fucking horrible, I stuck with it. And I continue to stick with it. But how much longer can we put ourselves through this boredom, through this redundancy? At least with our sports teams, we know that change can happen in the future. Certain pieces need to be put in place, right? Starts at management. If you get a couple of star players, just two, right? One main star player, one great role player, you're onto something, right? We know things like that can change. With WWE, for example, we no longer know if that can change under Vince McMahon's guy. I mean, Vince McMahon would literally have to remove himself for us to even start talking about change. And until the biggest dude on the block, which is WWE, until they get their shit together, it's a trickle-down effect. I don't think AEW and NXT can really stand on their own two legs if the big dog on the block, not Roman, WWE, if they don't get their shit together and drive that interest in pro wrestling, I don't know how AEW and NXT is going to gather those casual fans on their own. Or it's going to take years to do such. And they have to be consistently great, not just consistently good. I'm telling you the truth. You know, I know there's people that suck the AEW cock. That's not going to be me. In the NXT cock, it's not going to be me. I have to be honest. You look at the AEW crowd, and most of it is filled with people who have turned their backs on WWE justifiably. They've had enough. They've had enough of being fucking swerved and dogged out and treated like imbeciles. I totally get it. So what do you have for years of WWE treating their audience like shit? You have AEW. I love it. Unfortunately, there's no real interest. They have Fyter Fest. This is a glorified Dynamite show. And man, they couldn't even hit 750,000 this week. They couldn't even hit $750,000. You know, that's fucking sad to me because I put so much stock in AEW and I continue to. I do reviews when I really shouldn't be. The audience isn't there for reviews, but I do them anyway. Because I'm trying to help the community, the business, the industry, AEW. I'm trying to help WWE. I'm not one of these fucking schmucks that goes on their platform and goes, I hope WWE fails. What? I grew up watching this as a kid. I want to see it succeed. I want to see larger-than-life characters and stories I care about, feuds that capture and captivate us and our attention. That's what I want to see. I'm trying to help here. We're at a crossroads. Either the Amplified Man has to stop at some point, or I do my work from within. And one of these companies has to open the door for the Amplified Man. And I totally change the business from within. I literally have to be infiltrated into one of these companies. I know that sounds egotistical. I no longer care. For years now, I've known I am the mad scientist, the creative genius in pro wrestling. I know that, dog. I just don't say it often because it is egotistical to say, right? Oh, I'm so smart when it comes to pro wrestling. I have all these ideas that could captivate people. Don't you want to hear me talk about myself? So I knew that, so I don't say it. But now we have to start being even more truthful than ever before. As if we weren't already. But now is the time where we have to do whatever it takes to change the industry. To change WWE, because we can no longer sit through Friday night Smackdowns like that. We all agree on this. It's people like the Amplified Man. And not just people like. It is the amplified man. I now have to, and I know what I have to do. It's clear as day. I now have to work from the inside. I have to take one of these companies and bring it to the fucking promised land. I know it needs to be done. Now it needs to be done. Cody! Levesque! Mr. Paul Levesque! I can't believe I'm saying it, because I can't stand Josh Matthews. But the heads over in TNA Impact, or Impact, whatever you want to call yourself, I'm even willing to turn your company upside down for the better. Rearrange, change, and rock the entire professional wrestling world. I'm willing to even work with Impact Wrestling to make this shit great, epic, and fun once again. But I am now making it known. It's either I completely have to stop, or I have to literally get to work from the inside. That's what it's come down to. I've been being told for years that I'm the real entertainment in pro wrestling. I'm more entertaining than the actual shows. It's time to stop turning a blind eye to it. Stop turning my back to those type of comments, because it's evident that it's the truth. And if it is the truth, if I am the more entertaining one, if my ideas are better, then I should be the one who's calling the shots here. And I assure you, I get in the doors of WWE because up until this point, I always said I would never take a job with WWE. And up until yesterday, I was serious about that because I know me and Vince would butt heads and I would just be the scapegoat. I would be the Jim Cornette or the Paul Heyman, the Eric Bischoff, the Bruce Pritchard. I'd just be a scapegoat. I would just have a fancy title. I would bring Vince my ideas. He would shoot them down. He would rearrange the show 2 minutes before in the way he sees it. So I said there's no way I could ever work for WWE. And up until yesterday, I truly, that was what I was sticking with. But now I just need to get in the fucking door because I am literally locking Vince McMahon in his office, and I think he would get a kick out of that. Don't worry, I think he would respect that. I would lock the fucking door and I'd say, Vince, sit, please. And we would have a heart-to-heart. And I'd either be walking out unemployed, which is okay because I was fucking not working for WWE. By the way, I'd still be employed. I have 10 other things going on, revenue-wise. I'll never be unemployed just because I'm not working for professional wrestling or for a conglomerate company. But either I walk out of that door with no WWE job, which is fine, didn't have one beforehand, or Vince gives me the keys to the kingdom, or at least a fucking key. Let me have the key to the fucking front door. And we are gonna literally start changing shit. But that's the only way this shit changes. I honestly, if I don't see somebody like myself within the company changing this shit and really hitting Vince McMahon hard, Bruce Pritchard, I've heard, has been trying, but it's clear it ain't working. He's been trying to yell back and fight back with Vince. These are Vince McMahon shows. I'm gonna lay it all in a presentation that I think even McMahon would have to respect. And again, if Cody or the Impact heads want to do some business, let's rock. I'm all ears. But it's either we seriously start changing this with brilliant minds, or by the hundreds, these companies are going to continue to lose viewers. Even AEW and NXT, which we saw recently, with both shows losing another 33,000 viewers from last week. 33,000, and this is Fyter Fest Night 2. Supposed to be more anticipation. Great American Bash Night 2, more anticipation. Where's the anticipation? Fuck. They're playing Tetris. They're scratching $10 tickets. They're thinking which wall in my house is the best one to slam my dome piece through if this gets extremely boring. Just to wake themselves up or completely knock themselves out. But either one's better than watching WWE Smackdown. Something needs to change. We either make this better or we all have to walk away. Smackdown's review coming up next. I'm going to down the rest of this coffee and we'll talk about it. Alright, let's get to it. It's already like a 90-degree day, or at least that's how it feels. I'm sweating, I got things to do. Try to get through this as fast but efficiently as possible so we can all go about our fucking day here. The opening fucking monologue and cold open lasted 25 fucking minutes at least. Had a lot to say. Jeff Hardy is on Miz TV. Miz and Morrison push Hardy's buttons and even issue a challenge on behalf of Sheamus for Extreme Rules. And it's a bar fight. Hardy accepts, then attacks both Miz and Morrison. So let me go over that again so you can comprehend this, because it's as stupid as it sounds. Jeff Hardy is a guest on Miz TV, and the Miz is like, your feud needs something more than just a match. It needs a bar fight. And Jeff Hardy's like, I see what everyone's trying to do. You're trying to make me lose two ways. One to Sheamus, and one to my addictions. Well, I accept Sheamus in a bar fight. And I'm thinking, wait, what? Sheamus didn't even ask for a bar fight. He didn't issue a bar fight challenge. Miz just came out of nowhere with it. Jeff Hardy's like, you're all against me, wanting me to do a barroom fight. Fine, I'll do it. I accept, Sheamus. Wow. I literally, it was at that point I'm sitting back, I'm going, not even, nobody. The dumbest person on earth, or no matter your age, it doesn't matter. You couldn't have sat back and gone, this makes sense, I like it. Or, oh, don't worry about how we got there. At least it's gonna be a bar fight. It'll be cool. I want to fucking believe in what I am watching. I want the story to make sense. I want logic and common sense. How is this too much to ask? It's a professional wrestling show. I want the common sense and the logic. Even when Papa Shango back in the day would cast voodoos on people, at least we knew his character is a fucking voodoo guy. I can believe in it. Or at least suspend my disbelief. Miz is now he just came out without nowhere. Your match should be like a bar fight. And Jeff Hardy's like, you're all against me. You want me to lose my addiction. I accept, Sheamus. And Sheamus is like, wait, bar? I didn't say, okay. Sheamus appears up on the fucking Tron with again. Oh no, that was in the match. I'm sorry, that was later. But the setup to this bar fight, sure. It's a great concept. I've been saying for years now, since I started this channel over 3 years ago. I told you guys, we need to see more things like bar fights. Step away from the ring sometimes. Even before there was a pandemic, I felt it was just too formulaic. Promo, 2 matches. Promo, match. Promo, 2 matches. Promo. We never stepped away from the ring. Let's see somebody waiting for somebody in the parking lot. Let's have somebody at Applebee's, because you know somebody's gonna be there. You know, and they want to confront them. Let's have 2 people at a fucking bar, like fucking Bradshaw and Ron Simmons used to do. Stone Cold. So, I like the barroom fight concept. Could we have not gotten there better than Miz just going, your fight needs something like to be in a barroom. And Jeff Hardy's like, deal. It just was weird to me. So then we're back from commercial, and it's Hardy versus Miz. Good little match. I'm not gonna dog the match out. At the end, Sheamus appears on the Tron with some Guinness beer in hand. The distraction totally fails, and Hardy rolls up Miz for the W. That's right, the devastating roll-up. Everybody wins via the roll-up these days, because I've seen people jump out of 2, 3 tombstone pile drivers, 4 Batista bombs, 3 Triple H pedigrees, 4 super kicks, but nobody can kick out of a fucking roll-up these days. So what the fuck did you have, Sheamus? Appear on the Tron with a Guinness for, if the distraction failed 2 seconds later anyway. If you were trying to get to the barroom fight for Extreme Rules, the horror show aptly named, if you were trying to do that and you had Sheamus on a Tron segment anyway, why not just have Sheamus show up on the Tron and ask Jeff Hardy for that barroom Raw match? Why would it be that's what I mean, little things like that. I just can't deal with stupidity anymore. I really can't. It seems like the human race is getting dumber by the day. I don't know if it's what's going on in the world with this Wabaka. I don't know. But that's another reason why I have to start helping these companies from within, or I have to walk away, because at what point do we just walk away? I don't know where that point is, but I'm almost there. It's either I start helping or we just gotta walk. And people are already walking away by the thousands. Just stupidity, man. Where was I? Oh yeah. So they have Sheamus show up on the Tron at the end of Hardy and Miz's match, and it doesn't even do anything. Hardy ends up rolling up Miz anyway for the victory. When they could have just had Sheamus during the Miz TV segment issue the bar fight challenge. It still would be lazy booking, but at least make a lot more sense. Be a little more realistic and better. Nope. Nobody thought that through. Oh, you'll blame Bruce. No, Vince McMahon, the owner of the company, the guy with the headset on, the guy who's calling all the shots in the back. That's who the amplified man is placing the blame on. You ain't fooling me. You're fooling the rest of the community, Vince. You got the rest of the community going, Bruce, it's Bruce Pritchard, not the Ant-Man. I got you, Vince. I got your number. Trust me. That's why we need to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart. Tag title match for the women are up next. It's the Women's Championship. Champion Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. We've seen this in the past several times. I'm just happy to see Sasha Banks, to be honest with you. Sexy Alexi. Alexa and Nikki attack Bayley on the ramp. Pre-match. And then pandemonium ensues with all four ladies beating the hell out of one another. We cut to commercial. Back from break, the tag match is on. Not a bad match at all. Plenty of action. Everyone busted their ass. And let's be honest, Sasha Banks is in the match. So, of course, it was good. It's just, we've seen it before. And there's just, 20 people in the crowd. So, it doesn't seem fun. Now, I can't stand roll-up victories. We just talked about it. These days, it seems everybody wins with a vicious roll-up. It's just, redundant would be an understatement. However, I like the ending sequence here with Nikki Cross delivering a baseball slide under the second rope to Sasha Banks on the outside, and then Bayley almost simultaneously rolled Cross up for the W. And in good heel fashion, and for good measure, Bayley put her foot on the rope for extra leverage. So that's what I mean about, I didn't mind that roll-up because the story, the sequence, and Bayley tapping into that heel nature, it all flowed together. So that's what I mean, man. When you can do that, I'm on board. So champions retain their strap, Sasha Banks and Bayley. Hour number 2, and that was hour number 1, by the way. You had the Miz TV, you had Hardy and Miz, you had some strange backstage segments, some replay packages, and then the tag title match. And then hour number 2 begins with the Money in the Bank replay of Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman. This thing was literally just a little over a month ago. A full replay of this is nonsensical and quite lazy. And just gives casual fans a reason not to see them compete once again in a week and a day, right? What is it, 8 days away? It gives casual fans a reason not to tune in 8 nights. Why would they? They just saw these two compete. They didn't have to buy the WWE Network last month to see it. They got it for free last night, and you expect them to pay for it in 8 days? To fuck with that? Well, then again, the human race is getting stupider, so maybe they will. But it's just, they replayed the entire fucking match when it just happened over a month ago. If you're gonna replay a match, give us something fun from back in the day and entertain us, bring us back to, which I still would not recommend. I don't like replays during a 2-hour show. You have enough talent there. You have time to put together an entertaining show. There's no reason we should be seeing a match from a pay-per-view back in the day. But if you're going to, bring us to something that's really cool, not something we just saw a month ago. And I understand too, sometimes those are the highest rated in the show, which isn't saying much because it's still a really low rating. But sometimes it rates higher than everything else. That tells you 2 things. 1, that's how bad the rest of the show is. And number 2, it shows you that the old man will rest on that. Instead of getting better, more creative, he'll see that and he'll go, let's just start replaying more matches from last month. That's what he'll do. It pulled in a 0.3 better? Let's put it out there. Braun, Bray from last month. We then have a karaoke showdown. Clearly the suits and ties caught the amplified man's karaoke on Jericho's Judas theme. I just did that karaoke my last video when I was reviewing AEW Dynamite. I did the, well no, what'd I do? I did the whole first verse of Chris Jericho's Judas. And I thank you guys. A lot of you guys loved that and showed the love, man. That was, yeah, I can't believe I busted that out. But there's a difference between me doing that on these vids and in the middle of a Smackdown, just a week and a couple nights away from Extreme Rules. And that's the segment you're putting out there. We have Lacey Evans karaokeing to Jeff Jarrett's theme. We have Dana Brooke performing, sort of, the Honky Tonk Man's theme. We have Tamina Snuka attempting Triple H. Actually, I can't even say attempting Triple H's theme. I don't know what Tamina Snuka was doing out there. There was a moment where I seriously thought, somebody help her, she's having a medical emergency. She started to twitch. Things were happening with Tamina. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew somebody needed to attend to her. Thankfully, everything was okay. I think she was just trying to bang out to Triple H's music. I don't know. Even this morning, I don't. Naomi nailed Dusty Rhodes' theme, so that was good to see. But that's something Vince McMahon would do. Dusty Rhodes, Naomi. I mean, if you know the history with Dusty, the theme song, this is Vince McMahon 101. And he let Naomi just do that for a couple of minutes. Almost the whole song, if not the whole song. Where everyone else just got like 30 seconds or some shit. Fucking sweating now, man. But, what do I say about this, karaoke? There are some things that look good on paper, but just don't pan out come game time. This is one of those cases where not even on paper would this look good. Not even on paper would this look good. And trust me, I love old school wrestling themes. And again, I just did some Judas karaoke on my last video. And again, by the way, thank you for all the love on that. It means a lot. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. This was rough. My girl Naomi rocked the Dreams theme, and he'd be proud of her for that, I'm sure. But this was rough to watch. Everybody gave it their all. Dana Brooke really put everything she had into that. Lacey Evans did the best. She tried to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. It just didn't work. But I can't blame them. I don't know what Tamina was doing. I mean, I understand I understand Triple H's, especially the beginning, doesn't have a bunch of words anyway to karaoke to, but do the motions. Do what Triple H does. Since when does Triple H headbang? I just don't know what Tamina was doing. But again, that's what I always say about fucking Tamina. I never know what she's doing in the ring. I don't even want to go on to it. Every fucking podcaster and every fucking voice, analyst, journalist in the community has probably already ran this into the ground. I have no fun. I'm sweating. I got things to do. I have no fucking interest in even doing it. Talking about that shit. Main event was for the men's Smackdown titles. Champions New Day versus Shinsuke and Cesaro. Why? This could have easily been at Extreme Rules. We've already seen all four men in the ring before anyway, so just save it for Extreme Rules. Give them, a little funky match or whatever. That's fine. Nope. How do we get to a match at Extreme Rules? Let's have them fight beforehand. Because this is exactly how I said it would go down last week. This is what I said would happen. This is how lazy and redundant and how obvious WWE is. There's no special thing that's going to happen. No surprise. It's redundancy to the point where you know what's going to happen well before they probably even do. Because it's the company's MO. And this is how exactly I said it would go down last week in last week's video. I said this would most likely wind up in a schmaz finish, and we'll get it again next Sunday at Extreme Rules. What happened? This one ended in a referee throwout when all four competitors decided to disobey the official and brawl instead. So the referee basically threw out the match. And this is going to obviously set up an Extreme Rules rematch with Cesaro and Shinsuke versus the New Day. Why give it to everybody here just so we have to watch the same 4 people next week? Why? This is what I mean about laziness. The old man just does not give a shit. How can we make Cesaro and Shinsuke versus the New Day for the tag titles interesting, fun, captivate people in the storyline to get to Extreme Rules? We'll just have them fight. We'll have an undecisive winner. And this will show everybody that Cesaro and Shinsuke need another match. We've already seen them just last week, though. But by the time Sunday rolls around, next Sunday, we'll be saying last week we just saw them. We'll probably see them again next Friday. Wrestle again. But next Sunday, don't be surprised if you're seeing Cesaro and Shinsuke versus the New Day for the titles again at Extreme Rules, the horror show. Don't be surprised, because the Amplified Man told you this was going to happen way in advance. And it's probably going to be a tables match, because post-match, Cesaro powerbombed Kofi Kingston from the second rope onto Big E, who was laid out on a table. So it was a cool spot, with the show ending with Shin and Cesaro hoisting up the New Day's titles. So that's again why I firmly believe what I said last week will come true. We're going to see a fucking rematch at Extreme Rules, the horror show, and it looks like they're teasing a tables match. So don't be surprised if the Amplified Man is spoiling this all before WWE even does it, because it's fucking lame. It's obvious. I don't turn on 2-hour wrestling shows or 3-hour wrestling shows to tune into the obvious. I want to be entertained. I want to be taken for a fucking wild ride, a surprise, some special shit. I got 2 hours last night of scratching some tickets, contemplating which wall to put my dome piece through, installing and uninstalling Tetris, staring out my window, waiting to see some neighbor do something stupid. I did it all! And it was more entertaining than that show last night. I'm done for now, guys. I wanted to do a podcast yesterday. Again, I had to fucking do some traveling. I would have liked to have done one maybe for tomorrow, a Sunday podcast. I just don't know. Right now, it seems like every time I finish a Friday night Smackdown, I need to take the rest of the weekend to decompress and get my mind on anything other than Smackdown or WWE. And I'm in the same position I am this week that I was last week and the week before. So I don't know if there's going to be a fucking podcast. There'll definitely be a Raw review. I haven't given up yet on WWE or pro wrestling. Trust me. I'm not at that point yet, but we are reaching it. We are slowly but surely, and maybe fastly, reaching it. Where is that point? Don't be surprised if one day the Amplified Man just comes on here and says, guys, I love you. I'm done. I ain't leaving you. I'm going to do content, something else. Maybe I'll do fucking coffee reviews around the country. But I'll produce some type of content. But I don't know. I don't know. One day I just might come up and say, like, professional wrestling no longer deserves my energy and time and effort that I put into this. If I am more entertaining than the actual shows, than the actual companies, that is a fucking problem. I thank you guys for telling me that. I know that I am, and I still say that's a problem. The show should be more entertaining than me. It's the way it is. Amplified Man, think, be, live. Amplified always. Check you.